Hi and welcome to a quick tip video about setting up the drums. If you're anything like me, occasionally you will sit down at a drum kit, maybe your own, that's your permanent practice kit, and you'll just think things don't feel quite in the right position. There's so many places you can position your drums and your cymbals, and you kind of question whether you've got them in the right place. Well, I went to a Dave Weckl clinic recently, and he had one tip which I thought was genius, and I came home and I tried it on my kit, and it's made a really big difference to the comfort in my playing. And basically it's about finding the right height for your snare drum. Now the first thing I should mention is you need to make sure that you're sitting high enough so that there's clearance between the snare drum and your legs. So what I mean by that is if you're sitting so low that your legs are kind of parallel like this and your snare drum's there, then you can't even get a rim shot. You have to come and play in the middle like this. So that's not good, okay? So what you want, ideally, is for your knees to be down low enough so that when the stick bounces, you have clearance here without hitting your legs. So if your leg's here, you do a bounce stroke, then you're gonna bang your leg with the butt of the stick. So you need to be sitting high enough so that your legs slope downwards and there's clearance here. So then the next thing is deciding on how high the snare drum should be. So where it is here feels relatively comfortable to me, and the problem is that you will adjust to whatever you can see. If you sit down and you can see where the drums are, you play and you hit them wherever they are, but that might not be the optimal position. So here's the secret to figuring out where your snare drum should be. The secret is to basically pretend that you're blind and play air drums, okay? So if you stand up, I'm going to close my eyes and stand up. So I'm the headless drummer now, and I'm going to play a backbeat where I think it should be. And what you'll find, pretty much everybody who does this, the position that your arms end up in for the ideal backbeat is pretty much in a line with your belt buckle, okay? That's where my belt buckle is, that's where the tip of the stick is. And this is approximately, you'll find, a kind of 90-degree angle with the arm. Once you go past that, it starts to feel kind of weird. So if you play like this in the natural position, if you go for a lower one, you'll find that it just feels like you're pushing too far. It doesn't feel like a power. You can't get power if you go past that point. So what you're going to do is sit down on your stool, which is high enough so that your hips are higher than your knees and you've got a bit of a slope going on. Close your eyes. Don't look at where the snare drum is. Just close your eyes and play your ghost backbeat. This kind of air drumming backbeat. This is where we want the snare drum to be. Now, if I open my eyes and I look, that's quite a big difference from where it was set up. So I'm going to move the snare drum up. And what we want is to get it so that when you play that backbeat with your eyes closed, you end up with a rim shot. So you're going to hit the rim and the snare at the same time. So eyes closed. Okay, so that's the right height for me. Now looking at this, if I sit down, it seems kind of high, but that's where my body wants the drum to be. And then you get used to it, and it feels good once you're happy with this, once you've played a little bit. It's great for doubles and all these rudiments and things. You can pull the rim shots out very accurately and consistently because it's always in the place that feels right. If you put your snare drum too high, just move this mic a little bit. If it's too high, then what you'll end up with is you'll go for your ghost stroke and you end up hitting the rim, okay? So, I mean, that looks ridiculously high to me, but I know a lot of guys who play traditional grip play up here somewhere, sometimes even higher. But it looks kind of weird to me to have that there. But it's not about the visual look of it, it's about what feels right. So you've got to get over whatever you're used to seeing. So let me lower this back down to what seems to be the right height for me. Okay, let's just test that again. Close the eyes. That's about right. So that's how you figure out where your snare drum ought to be. I did the same thing with my hi-hat, and that ended up being an inch or so higher than it was before. And you can do the same thing with your toms. Where do you want the toms to be? Really, I want my first tom to be there, which means it'd have to come up a lot higher and in a little bit. That's something I haven't got onto yet. But for the snare drum, it works really well. And it means that you can consistently have the snare drum at the right height no matter whose kit you're playing on, because you sit there and you just figure out where your body wants it to be. So I hope this has been as helpful to you as it has to me. Go away, check it out, leave me comments and let me know how you find it, and I'll see you in another video.